skills on the platform. What's up, YouTube? Back at you with another one. Real quick, Spirit moved me to go ahead and jump on and do this video with you guys. What I wanted to talk about is the different religions on the planet. I actually just did a search on how many different religions there are on the planet. And according to my search, there are over 4,000 religions in the world today. Now, let's just think about that for a moment. There are over 4,000 religions on the planet today. And at one point in time, there were different empires that were ruling up until the present date. There's always been one country or one part of the world where there's always been a dominant force, a dominant group of people who actually controlled, if not everything, they control a majority of what was going on the planet. There was possibly several different empires at one point in time, but if we go back to the beginning, time immemorial, literally I mean the beginning of mankind, whatever you want to call it, human beings, there was certain rulers and groups in place. So I'm not going to get into a lesson about all the different religions and all the different groups that were ruling in different points of time. That's another topic for another day. The main reason why I'm doing this is because I just wanted to briefly talk about all of the different religions in the world. 4,000 religions. I'm not going to break down each religion either. This is just a general overview regarding that. So, today we have over 4,000 religions. Obviously, this is something that has developed over time. And what it really stems from is certain people just branched off and did their own thing. Like, let's just keep it real. It was certain groups of people who were influenced by whatever it may be. You know, if you want to say they were influenced by spirit, or they were influenced by entities or whatnot, to go out and do their own thing, in a sense. Now, were they doing it for the purpose of control? You know, were they doing it to say, you know, I'm going to go out and create my own thing so I can get my own piece of the pie, or whatever it may be? Or I'm going to go travel here and I'm going to start up something here, and I'm going to influence the people in this part of the world to sway them and believe my point of view, or this one's point of view, or that person's point of view. Right? So essentially, all of these different religions that exist today stem from one religion. Now, I did a quick research, and I want somebody to, you know, leave a comment if you know of any religion that's older than Hinduism. According to my search, and like I said, if anybody knows any religion that's older than Hinduism, let me know. And just give me some kind of evidence of that. So everything I'm saying here, you can go do your own research. I'm not going to show you any kind of screens or anything like that. I'm just having a general conversation about religion. right? And our understanding of religion. Now, Hinduism is the world's oldest religion, according to many scholars, with roots that are customs dated back more than 4,000 years ago. Today, with 9 million followers, Hinduism is the third largest religion, behind Christianity and Islam. Right? So we know according to the search, excuse me, I'm always getting a phone call when I'm doing videos. I don't know who's calling me. Scam likely. Okay, so once again, excuse me. So as I mentioned, we know those are the top 3 religions in the world today. Christianity, Islam, Hinduism being the third. I think Christianity is the largest, which derived from the Roman Catholic Church. The Catholic Church, Catholicism, is considered the most powerful church in the world. They're the most influential. But since over the years you have a lot of priests who've been acting out of order with their behavior and towards children mainly, they're like, no one really is looking at these individuals because they have not acted in the best interest of the people. So just kind of bring this full circle. With over 4,000 religions in the world today, I just named the top 3 for you. Everything's been literally turned upside down because you got people who want to branch off and do their own thing. And what was the reason behind it? You know, people want to go do their own thing, but what's their intention behind creating their own thing? Why are you trying to create your own thing? Are you really being guided by the Spirit of the Most High to go out there and start something new? Because you want to have some type of control over people? Whether you want to make money, whatever that may be. For whatever reason. I'm sure people had their own agenda back in the days as to why there are over 4,000 religions in the world. Think about it, it was a means to divide and conquer. In short, it was all about dividing and conquering. So, being that it was about dividing and conquering, we know that it causes division, separation, and that actually causes people to go in different directions. Now, if something worked originally, why would you change it? If something works, why are we changing things that work? We want to create situations and issues on certain things because we want to control the narrative. People want to just simply control the narrative and have control over other people for many different reasons. Most of the time it's selfish reasons. Right? So everything has just been literally turned upside down on its head. You have several different religious books out here. This person's reading that, this person's reading that. Now, it's not to knock anyone who chooses a particular viewpoint of the world, because I think it's a lesson that everyone has to learn. I think that's the reason why there is people that was reincarnated back into this lifetime. It's because there are lessons that they must learn. There are lessons everyone must learn in this life experience till you reach full completion. So that way you don't have to come back to this earth plane. That's a whole nother topic though. We're not going to get into that specifically today. So, in short, I'll try to wrap this up quick as possible. So, in short, with the several different religions, it's just designed to cause confusion and division amongst the people. Now, maybe start to think, being that Christianity is the largest, Islam is it's a split between Islam and Christianity, which it looks like Islam might be first and Christianity second, and it looks like they kind of battle with one another. But I think Christianity, aka Catholicism, is number one in the world at this time. But look at the people who follow Christianity, right? Which is considered the most popular religion. What percentage of those people are successful? What percentage of those people are living a life of abundance? Because the Bible talks about abundance. The Bible talks about how God wanting us to have, to live abundantly, right? But how many of these people are actually living abundantly? How many of these people are living a life worthy of kings and queens and gods and goddesses? Not many. Mainly, it's the church leaders who are living abundantly. Mainly, it's the heads of religion that are living abundantly, while the other people actually give to these few individuals at the top. So with the majority of the people giving to the few individuals at the top, everything trickles up, but nothing comes to the people necessarily. Now, it is the responsibility of the congregation to make sure that the higher ups are taken care of. But once again, if you're part of an organization or whatever religion it may be, you should be just as successful, if not close, to the ones that are higher ups. You should be just as successful as them. If you're not, that's a problem. That's a major problem today, because the congregation should be successful. If you're part of any group or any religion in the world, the congregation should be just as successful as the higher ups, as the priests, the bishops, whatever order there is. In Christianity, you got the deacons, you have the pastors, you have the apostles, you have the prophets, so on and so forth. You have the evangelists. Then, of course, in Jewish religion, you have the rabbis, etc. So, if the people are not successful, right, that means that there's a problem that needs to be changed. We have over 7 billion people on the planet, and there's no reason why that every single person on this planet can't be successful. No reason at all. People tell you, oh, you need to have faith. No. You do have to have faith, but that's a small component of it. That's part of it. You got to be able to use your mind to be able to get the things that you require in this lifetime. To be comfortable, to be able to have these nice things, and to be able to travel, enjoy yourself, and live the way you're meant to live, you have to apply your mind to this lifetime. Right? Right. There should be no reason why people are struggling. If they're struggling and you're part of some type of group or religion, that's a problem. You need to reevaluate what you're doing and who you're doing it with and where you're at. You got to reevaluate. Because it doesn't make any sense. We're not supposed to be poor. You're not supposed to be poor. Anyone that pushes poverty, that's questionable. Now, take it to the Bible, for instance. Like, I've studied the Bible for over 15 years. And what we got to understand about the Bible is it's information that's been pulled from several different books. Or in other words, the Bible is just part of the information pulled from original books and the original religion of the world. So, in essence, all the different books in these 4,000 religions across the world right now are all one book. Because if you really sit down and think about it, right? Okay, got lint in my beard there. Get that out of there. All right. Oh. Okay. So all of the different religions have books. So if we was to compile all of those books from all those 4,000 religions today, it's supposed to be one book or a series of books, but they're all one. They're connected. Nobody's going to take the time out now to go get all 4,000 of those religions books and try to figure it out. Most people are not going to do that. But we know that all those books come from the original religion. Whether we want to believe it or not. It makes perfect sense. Because there are certain things in the Bible that you read, you'd be like, wait a minute, hold on. Like, for instance, in the scriptures talk about slaves obey your masters. We're not slaves. Whoever teaching you that you're a slave is a liar. Now, there probably was some slaves in the back in the days, but we're not getting into that right now. We're not getting into the topic of slaves. We're talking about religion and all the different books. So if we was to compile all those books and read all those books, right, we would get the truth. We would know everything that there is to know in this lifetime. Because all the different subjects and topics in the world come from these books. Right? So, in short, once again, we got to understand that we have to use discernment when we're observing things. We can't take things for face value because it can deceive you and take you down a path where you don't want to be. And then you're wondering about your life and what's going on and why you're not where you should be, or why you haven't accomplished anything, or even, reached any success in your life. It's designed to cause confusion. 4,000 religions. It's ridiculous. Every single person has blood in their body. We are all one. Doesn't matter where you come from. We're all one. We're not supposed to be going against one another at all, at any point. If any one group's thinking they're better than another group, that's a problem. They're questionable. Right? So, essentially, I'm talking about these 4,000 different religions and the different people and groups that run them are just dividing and conquering. They cause division amongst the people. Because everybody wants to say I'm better than some. I want to say I'm better than this group, or this group's better than that group, or this is the top group, this is the bottom group. We all know that even though Christianity could be the number one group in the world, the law with the largest amount of members, most of the people are not successful in that religion. So that tells you a lot. That speaks volumes. Now, I tend to, because I grew up off of the King James Version of the Bible. After reading the Bible, the scriptures even tell you that it's an allegory. An allegory is a story. Now, just because it told me that, I'm not going to throw out the Bible, because there's a lot of valuable information in the book that can actually take you and guide you in a direction in your life to be successful. I know that because I've applied the principles of the Bible in my life. That's how I was able to become successful. Now, like I said, if you was to compile all of the books around the world, and you know what? I think that's something that I'm going to do down the road as I get older in age. I think I can gobble up and read 4,000 books in maybe about 20 years. So maybe by the time I reach 60, I can actually absorb that information over the next 20 years and read 4,000 books. Maybe. Let's see. If not 4,000, I could probably read at least a couple thousand other books by that time. You know, if I really put some effort into it. But I'm already successful in my life. I don't really need it. But it's just a task, something to probably do, a hobby. But like I said, I pulled my information from King James, and it's worked for me. I don't take everything for face value, even though there are scriptures that say you're supposed to take every single word. But we know that it's been translated and transliterated over many years. People say go get the 1611 version, where it has all the books. But we know that the Roman Catholic Church has had these books for many years, and there were many books that were burnt over the years. A lot of information was destroyed for control purposes, right? So being that happened, we really don't know what is what. But anybody with some sense and a brain and a mind can pull some information and figure out, what works and what doesn't work with trial and error in a lot of cases. So what I'm trying to say is that all of these religions, and there are so many people in the world that are not successful, right? And I personally go off the King James Version of the Bible, and like I said, a lot of information has helped me to come to that point where I'm able to. First of all, you have to be diligent in what you do. You have to put in time on things so that way you can get certain results. You can't just jump from one thing to one thing to one thing. You have to find one or two things, stick with it until you're able to get some success out of it. And then if you want to move on to something else, you can do so. But you kind of got to do things one at a time to start off with. All right? So, what I like to say is that personally, with the King James Version of the Bible, it's very beneficial. I think a lot of the information in the King James Version of the Bible is useful. And me being of Taino, what they call the Haitians, what they're called the Moors, what they call, the Romans. All of these different groups were considered what's called black people, quote unquote. I don't like the term black because black means death, but the proper term is blackamoor. And the people were the original people of the planet. And we actually, all this information over the 4,000 religions and different books come from us. That information comes from us. It is our information. Everything all this information and knowledge from history comes from us. So we shouldn't negate any of it. But since we know, like I said, the Bible's been tampered with and translated over time, we know that some of the information is probably skewed and inaccurate or manipulated in a sense. But like I said, if you meditate on it, you use your discernment, you can pull the gems from the Bible and apply it to your life. Now, also, what I want to get into quickly are the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, the 12 tribes of Israel were considered the different nations around the world, which are scattered at this point in time. They're all over the place. They say Judah is considered the Americans. Levites are considered the Haitians. Simeon is the Dominicans, etc. Now, the tribe bloodline that I originate from is the bloodline of the Levites, the priesthood. I claim that. And I want to go ahead and just quickly go over a couple things about the Levite priesthood. I think that that's one of the reasons why we're so divided as a people, and why so many people are completely led astray, is because they are going about doing their own thing, and a lot of these people running these groups are only doing it for selfish purposes. They only care about themselves coming up. See, for me personally, I don't need anyone to give me anything, because the Most High takes care of me and makes sure I'm okay. I've been taken care of all the 40 years of my life. Eating good. You can tell. I mean, my face is, I look healthy. I'm not big and sloppy, but I'm healthy. I got some meat on my bones. because I've been kept. Even during crazy times in life I've been through, I've been kept. The Spirit of the Most High has kept me around, kept me alive and well. I've always earned a good living in sales. But as I was being moved to do this video, it's because our people as a whole, all around the world, who come from the original man, have lost their way. That's why a lot of people, that's why there's only a small group of people who's successful. Let's keep it real. There's probably about maybe 20% of the world people that are successful. The other 80%, they get the leftovers. So 20% of the people of the world at the top control 80% of the money. That comes from currency, gold, silver, precious metals, precious stones, etc. Control 80% of the world's finance. The other 80% of the people control 20% of the world's finance. You think that's a coincidence? No, it's not. Do some research now and look it up. It's called the 80-20 rule. So we got to understand that these people are hoarding at the top. So there should be no reason why there's any poor people in the world. So all of this scriptures, like that's one scripture I don't agree with in the Bible, that the poor shall always be amongst us. Why? There's more than enough for the poor to eat too. Anybody say otherwise, you need to question them. There's enough to go around to every single body on this planet to eat and live good and comfortably. Not saying that you're not going to have to work, but everybody should be able to live comfortably and everybody should have a place to stay. We see that there's a lot of homes that are empty in this on this western part of the world. People are foreclosed on. It doesn't make any sense. Why is there so many homeless people and so many empty homes? There should be a home for every single man, woman, and child. Or family unit. Everyone should have a place to live. So that's the goal, is to make sure everyone has a place to live, everyone is successful, everyone has something to look forward to in their life. A place to go home to and call home. That's the goal. So, once again, I said I want to go into this about the priesthood. This is how I know that everyone could live a blissful experience in this lifetime. Because you have to give to receive. You can't think about yourself only. So, I wanted to get into this quickly. The book of Deuteronomy 18:1-2 says that the Levites had a very special inheritance from God. The Levitical priests, indeed, the whole tribe of Levi, are to have no allotment or inheritance with Israel. They shall live on the food offerings presented to the Lord. For that is their inheritance. We live off the Most High. That's why I've been taken care of all this time. Most High take care of me. They shall have no inheritance among their fellow Israelites, because we're set aside with a priesthood. They shall have live off the food of offerings presented to the Lord, for that is their inheritance. They shall have no inheritance among their fellow Israelites. The Lord is their inheritance, as he promised them. The other tribes of Israel receive land inheritance in Canaan. We know Canaan is what's considered the western part of the world, or at one point in time the entire world, divided up. But the Levites received no land. Instead, the Levites were given certain cities within other tribes' territories. So we were given certain cities in tribal territory where the priest would reside. Certain cities. The Levites' inheritance was God himself, in the sense that they were the ones chosen. We were chosen to oversee the worship of the entire nation of Israel. The Levites were responsible for the tabernacle and its implements, as well as overseeing the sacrifices and offerings of the people. We were responsible for that. But if the people not doing their part, how can we do our part? Like I said, personally, I'm good. I don't need anything from anybody. This is for you guys to get to where you need to be. The selfishness has to stop. You have to give to receive. For instance, I was in sales. I have to offer something, and I have to speak to someone in a manner where they can understand what I'm offering and how whatever I'm offering will benefit them, for them to purchase. And it becomes a win-win situation. But people are only thinking about themselves out here. How do you expect to prosper when you're not offering or giving anybody anything? You only consider and think about yourself. Then you wonder why you don't prosper. Because you're selfish. The Levites' inheritance was God himself, in the sense that there was one chosen to oversee the worship of the entire nation of Israel. The Levites were responsible for the tabernacle and its implement, as well as overseeing the sacrifices and offerings of the people. The priests were provided for through services. So this is a service that I'm providing you guys in a sense. I took the time out of my day to provide this service because I was moved to do this by the Spirit. Because the people need this. They need direction, they need guidance, they need order in their life to be able to accomplish certain things. The priests were to provided for through their services. Once again, providing the service by offering you this today. Deuteronomy 18:3-4 offers a summary of the law's provision. I'm going to get into that in a moment, but let me finish this. This is the share due to the priests for the people who sacrifices a bull or a sheep, the shoulder, the internal organs, and the meat from the head. You are to give them the first fruit of your grains, new wine and olive oil, the first wool from the shearing of your sheep. Now, most people don't have cattle these days. But if you're working, it's your obligation to provide for the priesthood. Because we're God's people. God's going to take care of us regardless. Once again, we don't have an inheritance in your land. We were given certain cities and certain locations to abide. So it's your responsibility as the people to make sure the priests are taken care of, so that way you don't miss your blessings. Once again, regardless if you guys do anything, me as the part of the priesthood, the high priest, I'm okay. But this is for your benefits. Because if you don't take care of God's priest, How do you expect to get anything in return? How do you expect your lands to be blessed? How do you expect to receive the harvest, the first fruits and the spoils of the land? Then you're probably wondering why your harvest is not growing. You wonder why you're not getting anywhere. Because you're not taking care of the priest. I've been moved by the Spirit to do this. Once again, I'm going to be okay regardless if you guys decide to do anything or not. I'm good for the rest of my life. If I live to 120 years old, I'm going to be taken well cared of. Very well. Might gain some weight. I'm not trying to, but I might gain some more weight. No, I don't need to gain no more weight though. But I'm a good where I'm at. I actually need to drop some pounds. But now, that was a little joke there. Now, so they will receive no inheritance among the Israelites. Instead, I give the Levites and their inheritance the tithes that the Israelites present as an offering to the Lord. This is why I said concerning them, there will have no inheritance among the Israelites. Verses 21 and 23 and 24. We don't have an inheritance. The Most High God, the Most High God takes care of us. So if you take care of his priest, you're going to get taken care of. It's a give and take relationship. It's not about me. But you have to understand who you're giving to, who you're pouring into. Because if you're pouring into the wrong people, if you're pouring into the wrong group, then you wonder why you don't get anywhere in your life. You wonder why there's always constant, it's always upside down. You're always trying to live paycheck to paycheck. You're always struggling. It's because you're not planting your seed in the proper soil. You have to plant your seed in the proper soil to be able to get that harvest. So if I give you a direction to go and you follow those instructions and you turn around and become a millionaire from my instructions, would you have an issue with giving, you just made $1 million from my instructions, would you have an issue giving $100,000 of that? Of course not. Who in their right mind would have an issue with that? I just gave you instructions to do certain things and you made $1 million from it. I know personally I wouldn't. I bet if you gave me if any one of you guys today seeing this or whoever sees this in the future was to give me instructions to make $1 million, anybody, you give me instructions how to step-by-step instructions on how to make $1 million, what I should do, and I make $1 million, I have no problem giving you 100,000. Matter of fact, I'd give you $250,000 of it, because I'd still have 750,000 for myself. I do it every day of the week. If I made that $1 million in a year, I'm coming to bring you $250,000 of that. That's just what I would do. I'd give you $250,000 every year from that cut. Because I sold into you and I got a return from it. It's only right. Give and take. It can't be a take consistently, because if you continuously take, it's going to be a problem for you. Because you're going to take from the wrong person and it might not end up well for you. Once again, know where you're putting your seeds in. Know where you're sowing those seeds. Because if you're sowing those seeds in shallow ground, you're not going to get any kind of harvest. You need to plant that deep in the proper soil. God was the unique inheritance to the Levites. He was the focus of their service, the source of their sustenance, and the significance of their calling. Like I said, the Most High take care of me. Whether you guys do anything, I'm okay. I'm going to eat. I've already been eating, and I'm going to always eat. The inheritance includes cities, daily food, constant vocation, but it did not include some types of land inheritance given to the other tribes of Israel. You guys were given the land to be able to grow and have large harvest. And all you were supposed to provide was certain offerings and the tithe, the tenth. Let's go into the numbers. Numbers 18, 1 to 32. So the Lord said to Aaron, you and your sons, your father's house, with you shall bear iniquity connected to the sanctuary. And you and your sons with you shall bear iniquity connected with your priesthood. And with you bring your brother also, the tribe of Levi, the tribe of your father, that they may join you and minister to you while you and your sons with you are before the tent of the testimony. They shall keep guard over you and over the whole tent, but shall not come near to the vessels of the sanctuary or the altar, lest they and you die. They shall join you and keep guard over the tent of meeting for all service of the tent, and no outsider shall come near you. Let's go down to 7. And you and your sons with you shall guard your priesthood for all the concerns of the altar, and that is within the veil you shall serve. I give you priesthood as a gift. That's a gift for me and my Levitical priesthood. It was a gift. And after outsiders who comes near shall be put to death. Then the Lord spake to Aaron, behold, I give you charge of the contributions made to me, all the consecrated things of the people of Israel. I have given them to you. That's the priesthood. It's given it to us as a portion to your sons, as a perpetual due. Excuse me. As a perpetual due. It's perpetuity. Then this shall be yours of the most holy things, reserved from the fire. Every offering of theirs, every grain offering of theirs, every sin offering of theirs, every guilt offering of theirs, which they render to me, shall be most holy to you and to your sons. In the most holy places shall they eat it. Every male may eat it, and it and your sons and your daughters with you, as a perpetual due. Everyone who is clean in your house may eat. And all the best of the oil, and all the best of the wine and grains, first fruits, what they gave to the Lord, I give to you. The first ripe fruits of all that is in their land, which they bring to the Lord, shall be yours. Everyone who is clean in your house may eat it. You guys get the concept. You can actually go into that Numbers 18, 1 to 32. And also in Deuteronomy talks about the Levitical priesthood. And also the book of Levites talks about the Levitical priesthood. Like I said, people, you need to sow your seeds in the proper soil. If you're giving to the wrong group of people, if you're giving to the wrong person who's not of God, not a man of God, a woman of God, specifically the priesthood, you're not going to be able to get anywhere. That's why also, to conclude, we offer numerology reports. Because people lie, numbers don't. If you get your numerology report, you're able to know your numbers and know what's best suited for you in this lifetime, according to when you were born, your birthday, and your name. When you put that chart together, you get a full, complete chart. It gives you the full breakdown of what's best suited for you as an individual, what's best roads and directions to go in life, what best career suits you, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, so that way you can focus and develop those strengths in your life, so that way you can able reach successful points in your life and be able to have the things that you need on a consistent basis without having to worry about it. That's what I can offer to the people as well. Like I said, I don't need the offerings. That's just something that it's going to actually take you to a whole nother level in your life, but I'll let you guys decide that. I'm not asking for any offerings, but if you provide an offering, great. Just make sure you include your name in the message, so that way I know who it is, so that way I can pray for you and to make sure you continue to be blessed in this lifetime. And then also get yourself a numerology report so you can know yourself on where you're supposed to go. The inheritance, the land, is for you. It's for the tribe of Israel. Me as part of the priesthood, my inheritance comes from God. My inheritance comes from the Creator. And you, as part of the people who actually control and run the land, when you take care of the priesthood, God's going to take care of you, because we're God's people. The priesthood was set aside. Remember, you take care of God's people, you're going to be taken care of as well. Get yourself a numerology report. My email is in the description. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification for future lessons and updates and reports. Thank you, YouTube. Peace.